Hey everybody, Hummus28 here. Today we're back with some more DeceasedCraft. So I'm trying to really figure out this oil cracking stuff. It's a bit difficult. As you can see, I tore down the derrick. It's no longer needed because the pressure wanes. So now we just are left with this doohickey here, which if I click on the right block, will turn it into the pump jack, just like so. It has two outputs. Power inputs up here. Let's connect this guy here. We're not going to power it quite yet because, as you remember, we're full up on a ton of crude oil. We don't need any more crude oil right now. Let's see, there's no inventory, so I can't check it. So we don't need to turn it on until we start processing this oil. And it seems like it's very, very complicated. So the first thing we have to do is build a distillation tower. As you can see, it's going to be pretty tall. And I'm not sure where to even build this. We have the space for stuff over here. I kind of want to have energy production back here. And we have the storage right here. So I might just loop it like here and then put the towers here. Because it's a multi-stage process. If you take a look, we can just grab that here. Once you build the distillation tower and the high pressure refinery unit, you get a lot of outputs. So if you take a look here, crude oil is what we're starting with. 50 millibuckets of crude oil produces 17 millibuckets of naphtha, 18 millibuckets of kerosene, 30 millibuckets of sulfurized diesel, and 12 millibuckets of lubricant. I don't believe lubricant has a use. Looks like you need it for a car engine. Okay, yeah, it's car engines. You can put it in a bucket. You can bottle it. Or you can put it into this machine to crack it and then make wax products, which is just use it the same as beeswax, which for me is essentially pointless. Don't think I'll ever need this. I think there was one. What does that say? Decreases walking speed by 5%. You can use it to make ersatz leather. Don't really need that. You can burn it for fuel, make candles. That's about it. So that byproduct is essentially useless for the most part, except you can put it into machines to make them run faster, because it is, of course, a lubricant. Sulfurized diesel is useful, because this one, when processed, produces diesel and sulfur dust. And then diesel is useful, like you can see here. You can feed it into your blaze burners to make them superheated for 40 minutes. And it has a 5% chance to produce sulfur dust, which is very useful because that'll help us create more ammunition. Then we have kerosene, which that's how you craft it. I want to see what you can do with it. You can use it to make naphtha, gasoline additives, and sulfurized diesel. So you could further break that down. Gasoline additives are needed to produce gasoline. Naphtha and gasoline additives produce gasoline, which is a very efficient fuel for the generator. And then lastly, naphtha. This is what we want. Wrong one. Put this in the high pressure unit with any water. You crack it, then you can use it in the distillation tower to further break it down into ethylene, propylene, and benzene. And you need these because you can turn ethylene into polyethylene. You can turn propylene and ethylene into rubber. And that's what we need here. If you take a look, those are the products we're trying to get. And then you can use polyethylene to make high resistance fibers, which lets you make high resistance fabric, which lets you make high carbon steel alloy. That's a lot of words. What was this? Oh, the refinery. I built this somewhere. Where did I build that? Oh, I built it over here. It's that machine right there. So that one also has a use. Let's see. That's for making the Duraplast sheets, which are also useful. But I have a lot of those, so I don't really think I'm going to need them too much. We really just need to work on cracking this oil so we can basically work on the endgame stuff, endgame loot, endgame weaponry, and go out further to expand. Now, I did end up, as you saw in the previous episode, loot some more items from over here in the wasteland, so I was able to get a lot more of these engineering blocks. So let's see. We're gonna need... We have to loop power, so I'm gonna have to build more windmills. And if this is the storage, then I guess we can put one of the tanks like right here. That's fine. So we're just gonna put you right here. Let's make sure we have a torch right here. Here's some music. Let's get to crafting this thing. Don't need any fluid pipes. You do need the iron sheet metal, one of these, one of those, one of that. Oh, it does need one by the looks of it. So this is a much taller build. But it is essentially just a giant tank. Block is that? Oh, it's more pipes. More pipe here. And then, funnily enough, this requires the alternative steel scaffolding slab, which means I wasted a bunch of steel making the other kind. And let's speed this up and build this much faster. And we're back, it's completed. So let's head on down. Oh, good thing I was holding shift. There should be a ladder here, I think. Guess not. We can just climb down the pipe. And then you hit one of these blocks. With this one? There we go. So now the distillation tower is complete. This is only the beginning, it says. Gives you more fluid pipes, greatly appreciated. And now we have to create the high pressure refinery unit. It makes sense to have one here and then... Makes sense to have one here and then one of the refinery units right next to it. Just because it makes it easier to manage logistically. We just have one here. And then we can put the main output directly in here. I do probably need like 3 tanks. I think that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you need really 4 tanks as like an intermediary. But they don't need to be that big. So actually let's grab those. I like using the create tanks because I think they look nicer. And probably doesn't have to be very big, so we can do 4 2x2 tanks, which means we need 4 16 tanks. Let's see, and the output. Yes, yes. Let's see, the input. Consult the book. Energy is input through the plug at the top of the heating unit. The fluid is to be separated. The fluid to be separated is input to the bottom of the unit, applying a redstone signal. Let me consult this one. I unplugged it, nice. Let me consult this one. So blue is input and then orange was output. Yes. So this is the input, this is the output. Kinda awkward piping, I'd have to go up like that. And then this one will go down. Could be worse. Okay, so this is the output. We have to do something like this. Oh, nice. You can see it. There's nothing else I'm missing, right? Oh, and here's the ladder. Okay, so then it would have to go up and around like that. Like so. But then, how does the output happen? Let's see. Yeah, it looks like that, but how do I know which one is coming out? The create mod, I mean, I'm assuming it does it bottom to top. Because like that. Yeah, this is the output, energy, secondary product like the vitamin. But if it all just gets put out like that, because we can do one tank here, not enough room. Let me back it up one more. So if we do one tank here, one here, here, and then here. I don't like this one being that close to the wall, but it should be fine. Could go one over. Yeah, let's just shift it over one. There we go. Let's see, create does have these, let's see, pipe. Smart fluid pipes that you can put a filter on. Not sure if this one has something similar. That way it will just pull out the right one. I think that should work. Let's see. You can pull it out there. Let's consult the manual, see if it says anything on it. Energy is input. The fluid to be separated is input to the bottom of the unit. Applying a redstone signal to the control panel will halt the behavior. The produced fluid mix is output from the side hatch marked with the orange dot, the bitumen through the front hatch. The distillation tower can separate the following fluids into their fractions. Crude oil turns into that. Like so. Okay, so it doesn't say which one. Let's see, are the tanks smart enough? Like the only thing I could think of is maybe connect it to the ME system and then use the fluid one. Because the ME system can store fluids. But I haven't actually seen any of these fluid parts, right? So I'd have to make one from scratch. This will be an exercise left to the reader. Anyways, in this case, it might be simpler just to build 4 of those smart modules and see if that works. So then we'll just have to connect. I think I have one already. Yeah, I have one. So let's craft another 3. Need some brass sheets. And we just do like that. Might have to move them over 1. Otherwise this pipe will touch that pipe and we don't want that happening. Okay, now that should work. And then we would just pump it out on this side as well. But right now we just need to store it. Then, let's build the secondary one, the high pressure refinery unit. So we'll probably need to build like a row of these at some point. Let's see, where is, let me consult the book so we can place it right. Okay, the redstone block looks like this, okay, where the redstone block is the front. Like that. So this is the front of the machine. So we build it like here. Luckily this one's quite cheap, using all the sheet metal that we took from the other building. And it's done. Then we just smack it with a hammer. Bam! Clean diesel. Then Diesel's younger brother. More fluid pipes. Now just like that, we're good to go. Now we can start cracking. Yeah, this is the front of the machine. Blue is output. A little bit confused. This one doesn't have anything on it. The high pressure refinery unit heats and combines fluids within its main reaction drum. It's integral to the secondary process chains. Fluctuating power from the place means you should use MV or higher because LV might not supply enough power. Power is input through the port on the top of the heating unit. Let's see, where's the top? Right here. So the power goes in here. Water into the top port beside the control panel. So I'm assuming water goes in here. Or right here. It says on top of the control panel. So I'm assuming this is where you put in water, right? Check over here. Orange was input. No, blue is input. This is confusing. Maybe if I read it enough times. Fluids are input through the port on the front of the machine. Okay, so fluids go in here. Water in the top, right here. Items are output from the side port. Okay, so this is where items come out. And the reaction product from the port atop the reaction drum. And then reaction products come out here. Gotcha. It's built as shown. If you apply a resonance signal, it will stop it. If pneumatically processed plastic is available, the high pressure refinery unit can process ethylene and propylene into molten plastic at a 10x or 20x yield. Okay, so really not that complicated. So let's go ahead and connect this over here. To our crude oil. We're going to connect it to the big one first. Oh. Broke the farm a little bit. Looks like we're going to need more fluid pipes. And then we'll just connect it like right here. Do I have more? I do have more. Nice. Always good to double check. Then we need to pipe it in right here. Like that. Which means we'll need our pump. Yeah, we don't need to produce... It's full of concrete. Well, just in case we ever need more concrete in the future for another derrick, we have it available. Let's grab our pump. And then we'll have to route power as well. So we'll build like a power tower this way. So we can put the pump right over here, where it's easy to reach. Fluid input, fluid output. And I believe this is all running on high voltage, so we'll just have to keep it with high voltage. Yep. Connectors, relays, coil. Let's make some fences. It's a ladder. You make a fence. Like that. Okay. So we want to loop it around the outskirts just so we don't have to accidentally touch anything. So we'll place one right here. Then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Place that. Right click it. This one's right here, so we can move it over. So we need to place the connector here. So then we can place another one right here. That was 7, so this has to be about 5 blocks tall. 3, 4, 5. And that should power it. So let's see, now this should be filling with oil. Does not seem like it's doing anything yet. Take a look here. Am I wearing my... I have my goggles on. Where are my goggles? I probably didn't put them back on when I perished in battle. Goggles, yeah, there they are. Should let me see if this thing is emptying. No, it's full. Fluid input, output. Let's see. Maybe because this doesn't have power? Relay, fence post. This one's in a kind of awkward spot. So I'll have to move the relays like out over here. Let's put it right here. Two, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's good enough. out of high voltage wire. Let's get some more of that. Put our last connector right over here. Yeah, this is kind of an awkward spot, isn't it? It could reach from there. The only issue is I really don't want it. Let's see, I could put it right here. That's a little bit safer. We could do it like this. We're gonna need more relays. Which is fine, because as we build more machines, we're gonna need a lot more relays anyway. Then we connect this one here. Okay, that works. Okay, now it's getting power. It's still not pulling. Let us consult the manual. It's about the pump. No, where's the simple machines? What is this called? Fluid pump. Fluid transport. Fluid pumps. You insert into pipes at high pressure to transfer fluids much faster. Using a hammer on the base of the pump will switch the sides between input and output. In order for the pump to pick up fluid blocks, it will also need a power input at the top and a redstone signal. Pumps can also be used to extract from tanks and other fluid containers that do not have automatic output. Oh, this will also require a redstone signal, but won't consume power. Oh, okay, gotcha. So you do need a lever on this for it to work. Like, you have to manually tell it, yes, start pumping. So now oil should be going in. It's full of crude oil, and now it's producing. And it's producing very fast. See, it's full. Now we have naphtha, kerosene, sulfurized diesel, and lubricant. And since you don't need power, I should be able to place another pump right here and then just power it with a torch. I mean with the lever, and it should work. Because it says it does not consume power. It might mean you still have to hook it up, like it needs a power source, but I could be wrong about that. So we'll just go ahead and plug it in right here. Fits snugly. Fluid input on this side. Fluid output here. Why are you not? Oh, because I tapped this, I think. There we go. Now if we put this, let's see what happens. Oh, these don't have any... What's the word? Filters on them yet. Okay, so that means... Let me see what happens if we take off these filters and just have it pump in. Okay, naphtha's going in here. Now naphtha's going in there. Naphtha, naphtha, kerosene, kerosene. Okay, let's turn this off so it stops flowing. So what I can do here is now I can break these ones. And we need to... So this one will be naphtha, this will be kerosene. I can just break these to void the items inside, but actually I could just... How much is in there? I don't think there's a lot, so my idea should work. Yeah. Yeah, less than 10,000. So what we can do, come over here. We're gonna grab another pump. We're gonna grab a depot. I think I have some. Yep, more than enough. We're gonna need 2 jerry cans. And more iron sheets. And then we need, what's it called? I know what it looks like. Okay, I don't remember what it's called. I don't know what it looks like. Nice. I have one downstairs. Oh, we're gonna need buckets, of course, so let me grab some more buckets. No, that's what I have the jerry cans for. No, but I need the bucket, because I can't use the jerry can for the filter. Gonna need 2 buckets, actually. I really only needed 2. It's called a spout. That's what we need. Will this... Actually, will the spout work? Does it need... Okay, it does not need it. And I think we have some in here. We do not. Spout. Copper casing. 1 copper. 1 log. Okay, now this all should work. You come over here, you take this lever. You come right here, grab a pipe, put the spout here, this here, put the jerry can, like that. Lever, then you do fluid input, fluid output. Actually, I want this one to actually have the naphtha, so I need to eject this one. So we can just break this. Actually, I can just use the hammer, right? Yeah, like that. Like so. And this should do just as I intended. So now this one's empty. And you can grab that, it's full of naphtha. Let's see, can I use this to set the filter? Doesn't seem like it's working. See, I need the naphtha anyway. So we can go ahead, so now that that one's empty, we can break this. And we need to empty the kerosene. So we're going to do it the same way. But this time I'm going to think ahead and put a bucket instead of the whole jerry can. Fluid input, fluid output, this is kerosene. Okay, got the kerosene. We want to empty this one, so we take our smart fluid pipe, put it here, gonna filter for kerosene. I'm hoping this works. I believe that's how it works, right? Oh, doing it wrong. But I think that gives me an idea. I think what that means is I can just have all of this output into one tank and then just use the smart pipe to pull out what I need. I think that's what it means. So let's empty these ones. I think that's gonna work. Okay. So those are empty. Let's take all this down. Can't believe I didn't think about this before. So we just come over here. We're gonna make this a bigger one. Don't want to waste the kerosene like that. And then we just pipe it all into here. Actually, before I do that, because this is showing a basin with multiple liquids. Okay, no, that's what you do. Okay, I'm doing it right. Okay. Silly me. And I threw away all the naphtha because I broke the wrong one. That's fine. I'm not worried about it. So how did it look? Yeah, you just, it's like that comes out like so. So we could just do this again. No problem. Because we have a bucket of kerosene. So kerosene goes in here. Smart filter here, here. This one has the naphtha. My brain is not big enough for this. So, this is full of sulfurized diesel and lubricant. I turned it off, so it's not processing anymore. The top one comes out first. So if I turn on this, it's gonna output sulfurized diesel, which it's doing. Okay, so we break that. Pipe here. One. Can't reach that side like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Depot, this. Grab our bucket like that. Turn you off. Like so. I didn't set the inputs. Fluid input. Fluid output. Okay, now you turn it on. Okay, I have 2 buckets of sulfurized diesel. That's nice. Okay, you put the sulfurized diesel here. So kerosene, sulfurized diesel. So now if I turn this on, since those two have filters, well, I think see, this is the problem I'm having. I don't think the pipes don't have storage themselves, right? They just pull. So it should only fill up these two. And it doesn't seem like it's doing anything now. Oh my goodness. It seemed like it was working a second ago, now it's not working. You know what? I'm going to take this offline, see if we can figure it out. This is getting very complicated, and it's my lunchtime. Been recording for quite a while. But we're making progress. This is a big like headbanger trying to figure out how we're going to filter all this stuff out. Actually, am I doing something very dumb, which is not consulting the book and then realizing there's something very easy that would make this a lot simpler? Let's see. Tools? No. Simple machines. Fluid routing. Works akin to an item router. Fluids input through any side will be redistributed based on how the 6 side filters are set up. Clicking a bucket or any other type of fluid container on the slots of the GUI will configure the filter to that fluid. When any fluids are piped into the router, they will be routed to an output whose filter matches the fluid, or if there is no matching filter found, the fluid routes to the unfiltered output. If there is no available or valid output, no fluid will be accepted. So there is. That makes this a lot easier. Instead of having all these smart fluid pipes, I can just have one block. So let me craft that, and then we'll be back in a second. And we're back. As you can see, the sulfurized diesel is filling. The kerosene not filling yet, because this one has to empty. Yeah, as you can see, it's full of lubricant and naphtha now. So we can turn this off. So now if I route this here, it should, in theory, push the lubricant. This is the blue side, right? Why is it not doing anything? Yeah, this is the blue side, light blue, south, yeah. This is lubricant. Why is it not pumping? I don't understand. It said if it doesn't have a valid output, it'll just pump it here. Alright, another cut, and then we'll come back once I figure this out again. And we're back. As you can see, I put a bit more storage on these two. I took it off the top of there. But now it seems like I've ironed out all the kinks. So if we come over here, reapply the signal to let oil flow in. Should take a second. Or actually, it might just be flowing entirely. What's going on? Why aren't you working now? See, it's not red. Flip the switch. It has power. It should be working. Oh, and the bitumen is just getting shot out the back. That's funny. Okay, what seems to be the issue now? That would be it. I broke the pipe. So if we attach this pipe here, it turns on. As you can see, it's getting produced and then instantly going into the tanks. That took forever, but we figured it out. Now, of course, the next step is going to be cracking naphtha into a more useful form. That way we can make it into ethylene and propylene. But I think this episode has dragged on enough already. Bitumen is actually a very useful byproduct. I need to grab a chest, because as you notice, bitumen is just shooting out the back here. Grab our wood. 1, 2. One chest should suffice for now. Bitumen production can't be that massive. And it stopped because the tanks are full. That's kind of the problem with this setup. As you could see, it's filled up with sulfurized diesel and it can't output it. And since there's not enough room, I believe, yeah, there's not enough room for the kerosene, it can't produce more because it's full. So we need more tanks. And that's what makes this whole oil processing so difficult, is if you don't balance the production production stops because you end up with an excess of one thing that you can't get rid of. Luckily, this mod does have flare stacks, which lets you do exactly that. You can burn off excess components. I kind of don't want to. I like having a lot of stuff available, just because it's kind of a waste of resources otherwise, right? Like, you're going to use all of this stuff, so why just burn it? But until we get the rest of the setup going, that's going to be a bottleneck that's going to stop production. Unless we just slap more tanks to the top. But anyway, as I was saying, so bitumen is actually very useful, because you can take it to make concrete, or if you put it in this giant coker, and then put any kind of water, it takes the water and 2 bitumen to create more sulfurized diesel and pet coke. Pet coke is extremely useful. Why? Because you can use it to make, where is it? You crush it down in a pet coke dust, cook it, squeeze it down into hot graphite, and then you can cook it into the ingots, and then we can press those ingots into the electrodes. So see, it's a whole circular process that feeds into itself. But anyways, I'm off to lunch. I'm your host, Thomas28, and I'll see you guys next time.